Hey, everybody. Welcome to GameHounds. We are here. And hey, it just occurred to me, Nick, you're not here next week.
No, which actually I did have an idea of what you could do next week.
Okay.
Uh, have you beaten Baldur's Gate?
No.
You should stream the end of Baldur's Gate.
Okay. But if I do, then I don't know. I'm going to have to make the decision of how many times I want to re-roll to get that natural 20.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, that's part
All
of
right.
the
It could
that's
just be a whole like 3 hours of me rolling over and over again to get that natural 20.
just 2 to 3 hours of roll, reload, roll,
Roll,
reload.
reload. All right. Yeah, I could
But
do
like
that. Yeah.
I was just thinking of like what things can you do, and I remember you hadn't beaten it yet, and that seems like a fun way to like share the end of this epic event.
Yeah, that's probably true. Okay. All right. So next week I will, because I've been actually thinking about the like, I've got to just finish it. So next week I will finish the end of Baldur's Gate.
And then that's it. Put the game down and never go back to it.
No. I'm gonna
Obviously.
as soon as it's over, I'm gonna start back over again. Because that's the thing is I know I'm gonna start it back over again because I want to play it totally differently now. Although I'm really, really tempted to just drive into Dragon's Dogma.
Mm.
Really tempted to do that.
I I mean not to skip too far ahead, but like I've been just okay. Fallout, the show Fallout came out.
Right?
It's actually really good. I watched the first episode of it.
Good.
Really good, highly recommended.
Okay.
Every night this past week, I'm like, I want to watch more Fallout. And then I start playing Dragon's Dogma. And then it's like,
Oh,
shit.
wow. It's good enough to make you not
Yeah, well,
want to
the thing
watch
is it
Fallout.
it's not that
Interesting.
it's not that I don't wanna watch it. It's that what Dragon's Dogma 2 does really well, I suppose I should just put the banner up.
Sure, why
Um,
not? Actually, you
uh
know what? Maybe we'll start. Hold
okay.
on a second. Hold on a second.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 712. We are recording this on Sunday, April 14th, 2026. I'm sorry, 2024. It's because it's 2:26 in the afternoon.
I just looked at the time and saw that.
Okay. April 14th, 2024. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nikki Nicola. Okay, we're about to talk about...
I was, but then I remembered something else.
Yes.
And I just wanted so I know that you watch a lot of those South Korean dramas that are
yeah.
hundreds of episodes long, 90-minute episodes each,
Yes,
just
yes.
crazy.
Yes.
And you know that I've been saying, you know what, you should watch The Three Body Problem. I think you would like it.
Yes.
What if I told you that there was an Asian adaptation of The Three Body Problem that was 30 episodes long?
Asian, what country?
China.
Yes, yeah, I don't like Chinese. I don't like Chinese dramas. I find their cinematic quality to be comparatively low. Like I've tried to get into Chinese dramas and it's like, this looks cheap. It's like cheaply made, cheaply done. It's just like, I will do Korean all day, every day. I will do Japanese. Absolutely. Chinese, you can spot it. You can spot it's a Chinese drama or even a Chinese, serial. Absolutely. So I'm, bless their hearts, but they don't do a good job. Sorry. I mean, I'm sure that this will get China all over me, but by comparison, Korea has you beat by a long shot. Korea has Japan beat, as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm.
Their film quality, their cinematic quality, they're just everything. Their sets, their design, everything, their effects, so much better than Japan, which is kind of funny because Japan's kind of known for the effects, and yet Korea has got it so much better.
Well,
It doesn't look cheap. The CGI is good.
yeah. I just brought that up because the Fallout TV show came out on Amazon this week, and as I was looking it up, there's also the Chinese Three Body show streaming, and
If
I was
I'm
like,
gonna watch Three Body Problem, I'm gonna watch the American Three Body
well, I
Problem.
was just like, what is this? And I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I heard about this. This is like produced by Tencent, and I was like flipping through it, and I was like, oh yeah, the American one's 8 episodes. This one's like 8. Okay, keeps going. Maybe it's like 12 or 13. It keeps going. Okay, maybe it's like 20, and it keeps going. Jesus Christ, it's 30 episodes. 30
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah, they
And
love those they love those commitments
and then my
in China,
immediate
in Asia.
thought, my immediate thought was, this feels like more Edie's speed.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but anyways, Fallout TV show, very good. I've only seen the first episode. Um, it what's funny is I always heard it talk about Jonathan Nolan was always doing interviews about the Fallout show, right? Christopher Nolan's brother, Jonathan Nolan, the guy behind Westworld and Person of Interest.
Right.
And like, no, it's on Amazon, not Netflix.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
But like, he was always out there doing interviews about it. Except what I realized when I started the show is he's the executive producer. He's not the showrunner.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, okay. So like, this is someone else's baby that you're kind of helping promote.
Right.
But it's
If you
interesting.
put your name on it for street cred.
Yeah, but what's interesting is I do get some of those Nolan vibes from it. The first episode has an interesting Westworld vibe similarity in
Mhm.
that it's a way more cartoonish, it's way more funny, there's like a lot of action, it's way less like heavy duty serious drama than Westworld was, but The Wasteland has that same air of mystery and conspiracy that Westworld did. Like that,
Mhm.
you watch the first episode of Westworld, and when it ends, you're like, shit, man, there is something big going down in this place. And by the end of the first episode of Fallout, you kind of get a similar sense of that. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's interesting because it jumps around from 3 different characters. This vault dweller, Lucy, this Brotherhood of Steel soldier named Maximus, and this ghoul who's just known as the Ghoul. And it kind of jumps around between them and does a good job like introducing the story, but there's just like this vibe of like there are tiny little uh links between each of their stories, and you're like, oh, this one character was mentioned in 2 of the stories. It's like, well, how do they connect? This is interesting. And so it has that air of mystery and conspiracy that's really, really compelling. And from all the reviews I read, it's got nothing but like rave reviews. So I'm looking forward to watching more of it. But the problem is that every time I try to watch more of it, every night I tell myself I'm going to watch more Fallout.
Mhm.
But I start by playing Dragon's Dogma 2.
And that kills it, huh?
And then the problem is that I don't stop playing Dragon's Dogma 2
Yeah.
because it does the thing that Skyrim does of there's always something right over the hill that I want to see. Of
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm looking at the map and thinking, where do I want to go? I have a quest that's going to take me all the way over there. But along the way, I can look at the world map and I see that there are like these roads that kind of all go in dead end in different places. I want to go follow one of those roads, get to the end of it, see what's there. Then I'll go back to the main road, progress for a little bit, then go off on another little side road and see what's at the end of that. And so it kind of keeps on giving you these little tiny things. It's like, oh, what's over there? Oh, what's over there? What's over there? And so in one instance, I was trying to get to this city on the other side of a valley. So I walked up one side of the valley, explored some of the stuff on that side. Then I crossed the bridge to the other side, and the city was right in front of me. But I thought, no, I want to go back the way I came, but now on the opposite side of the valley to see what's over here. So I did that, and I got at the end of it was this locked door. It was like the kind of crumpled, destroyed remnants of a tower with a metal gate, but I couldn't break through the gate. And all my pawns kept saying, "Yeah, well, we're not going to get through this from this side. We have to unlock it from the other side." And I've seen gates like this before. Well, basically, you just need to hit it from the other side to break the lock. But I'm like, how do I get to the other side? It's like, well, the walls aren't that high. Maybe if I had a pawn with the springboard ability, where you get on their shield and they throw you up, maybe I can get over it. But I don't have a pawn like that. So, okay, let me run back to this rift stone that's nearby, switch out one of my pawns for one with springboard, come back, and I'm like, okay, come on, guy, do your thing, lift me up. But he's not doing it. And so generally the AI is really, really smart. So if he's not offering to springboard me up, that means I'm not going to make the jump. So I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I'm a mage at this point, and mages have this ability called levitate. But I'm a new mage, so I don't have that ability yet. So I'm like, okay, let's go to town, go to the vocation office. Let me spend my experience points to get levitate. Then I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to try to levitate up. Except the thing is, levitate doesn't get you all that high. And so, like, okay, how do I get over this? Well, it's kind of at the bottom of a hill, and there's like a hill next to it. So if I'm on the hill and I go running, and I get a running jump and then start levitating, can I levitate over the wall? But no, it's too far. I can't do it. And so I'm just doing this for like 20 minutes trying to jump over this wall. And the sun starts to set. In game, the sun starts to set. And what happens when the sun set is that the more spooky monsters come out. You get ghosts and skeletons. And what I realized completely by accident is all of a sudden, these skeletons came out of these coffins on the other side of the door. And because I was running around in front of it, they came up to the door, attacked me through the door, broke the lock, and opened it. And then we were able to go in, kill all the skeletons, and kind of explore this tiny little area that I think ended up having a really good sword in a chest. But it was like that kind of experimentation of okay, how do I get around this? How do I get through this? I'm going to try to get over the top. I'm going to do this. But no, if you wait until nightfall, then the enemies will come at you and attack and try to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd experienced something like that in a cave too, where I got this door and it was locked from the other side. I'm like, okay, well, let me explore the cave more until I find a way around it. Well, the way around it was go up a tunnel, up, and you hit a pit that's just a sheer drop down behind that door. And I'm like, okay, this is too far of a drop. I won't live. I won't survive this. If I throw a pawn down there, they won't survive this. I've got some wakestone shards on me that will bring me back if I die. So in theory, I could just jump down, kill myself, and then bring myself back with a wakestone shard. But they're relatively rare. I've got 10 of them on me now, so it's not like I'm hurting for wake stones, but there's got to be a better way. And I'm looking around and I see these explosive pots just kind of put off to the side of the mine. And I'm like, well, what if I take one of these explosive pots and I chuck it down? And I do that, big explosion, and I run back down to where it is and I just push the door open. And it was like, yes.
That's such a good feeling. I did it.
Yeah, it's that feeling of okay, I've got a problem. There's a solution in front of me. I can figure this out. But how?
Right.
How am I doing this? And the fact that there's always some solution. Sometimes it requires waiting until night. Sometimes it requires looking around the environment. Sometimes it requires coming back with a pawn with a different vocation and different abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of those little puzzles throughout the environment that just make it fun and make it fun to explore. And that's what I find myself doing a lot of is just, I want to explore every little nook and cranny of this world. And so that's why whenever I start playing it, I end up playing it for several hours because it's that Skyrim feel of, oh, what's that over there? Let me go investigate. Okay,
Mhm.
now that I got this chest, well, let me go see what's over there. Well, let me go see what's over there. Oh, now I got to go see what's over there. Through I ended up stumbling across this Sphinx character that I had seen videos of, but I had no idea where they were in the world.
Mhm.
I end up stumbling across the shrine of the Sphinx, where she'll give you riddles that you have to solve, just purely by accident. Because I was like, "Oh, here's a cave," and I'm like, "This is a big cave. I want to see what's at the end of this." And I'm like, "Oh, going around, explore the cave," and then the cave spit me out on like this weird mountaintop, and I'm like, "What the fuck am I?" Like I've never I entered the cave over here and I exited like over here. I'm like, what the hell? And then I found some stairs and I took the stairs up and all of a sudden there's the Sphinx. I'm like, oh shit, the Sphinx is right here.
That's
So
so cool.
yeah, it's really cool. Just that
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna get stuck on that one too.
yeah, it's just that sense of
I really should just
discovery.
make myself a schedule of these nights I play Baldur's Gate, these nights I play Dragon Dogma, these nights I play Helldivers.
Hmm.
Because I'm now at the point where there are so many games I want to play that I am in like I'm frozen. It's
Mm.
like I'll go, oh man, I kind of want to play all of them. I'll just watch some YouTube, and I end up
Mm-hmm.
playing none of them. There's too many good games right now,
Yeah.
which is
And
a wonderful place to be.
oh yeah. It doesn't help that Helldivers keeps adding stuff. And it's like, oh, this is actually
I
interesting,
know,
fun stuff that I
I
wanna
know.
get into.
Yeah, the automatons are back
Yep. With a
Mm,
vengeance.
with a vengeance.
Oh, also, I sent you last week when we were playing, you,
Mhm.
me, Ryan, and Lip. Um, I took a video of an extraction that I did and I saved it to the PlayStation. I meant to send it to you last week, but I ended up forgetting and I sent it to you last night. It's the luckiest, most graceful extraction I've ever performed. I cannot believe that it worked, but it did. And I'm glad I got a video of it. But yeah, just I sent that to you, and I think it's pretty amusing.
Nice. Well, what else did you play this week? I mean, I played Helldivers with you. We streamed it.
Mm-hmm.
Had an amazing extraction.
Yeah,
That was awesome. That was
yeah. I
an
think
awesome
we.
extraction where I saved the whole team. And then there was another extraction where I destroyed the whole team. Like I was the only actually I take that back. I was the only one who didn't make it.
That's the one I sent you the video of because I did make it. I should not have made it.
Yeah, because you killed me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You killed me.
How?
I can't remember. You something happened. It was a friendly fire that got me killed.
Well, I remember in the video I sent. You can see what happened. I land in my drop pod, and there's like 15 seconds until the shuttle takes off.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big old Bile Titan right next to me, so I drop a 500-kilogram bomb on it. I turn around this like pillar of rock, and then get distracted shooting a bug that's right next to me. The bomb goes off, sends me flying, rolling head over heels, and then it's like 5 seconds till the shuttle takes off. So I have to run through the legs of this other Bile Titan, and I'm on the shuttle's like down below. I'm up top on this level. 3 seconds until the shuttle takes off. I just literally dive off of the top, drop like 2 stories, land on top of the shuttle, clip through it, and end up inside.
Oh no! Oh my god!
And then it takes off with me.
So you sent it to me on my text. Oh, texted it to me
PlayStation.
on PlayStation. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up on PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it. I would have sent a text, but I don't know how to get it on there.
And I am not yawning because I'm tired, and I'm not yawning because I'm bored with you. I am yawning because it is fucking freezing in California right now.
Don't yawn, because you yawn, you make me
I'm
yawn.
sorry. It's just that that's what I do when I'm cold, and it is so cold today. It was 70 degrees 2 days ago.
It's been a little chilly this weekend. It was raining not too long ago.
Yeah, it was raining yesterday, and
Yeah.
it last night it was fucking freezing, and today it's fucking freezing. It feels like winter, like the dead of winter, which is
I
fortunate
don't know
because
if it's that cold. At
I'm
least
having a Thanksgiving dinner turkey tonight, and I've got stuffing in the oven I just made.
Bitter says, what did Eve Gimo do this week? I also don't know. I purposely avoided looking at Edie's news item because I don't know what the title is referring to. So I'm curious to find out as well, Bitters.
Well, then we might
and-
want to move quickly and then get to news, and I can tell you all about it.
Well, AC Wraith also said that he's taken to watching some Korean dramas at 3 times the speed.
What?
But sometimes he has to slow it down to 2 times to make subtitles appear.
Oh my god. So wait a minute. How are you watching it at 3 times speed if you can't read the subtitles? Are you watching dubs of the Korean movies?
I imagine he's just watching it and the subtitles are appearing really, really fast.
That's impressive that he can read those, because some of those subtitles happen really fast.
Yeah.
Even
Also,
in normal time.
I'm curious where you're watching them, because most streaming services don't offer like a God damn it.
I'm sorry.
Um
I'm just gonna do the whole show like this, so you can't tell when I'm yawning.
yeah, most streaming services don't offer like a 2 to 3 times speed, right? The moment you try to speed it up, it like kind of
Netflix does.
pauses and skips it. Does it?
Uh-huh.
No.
You can watch it faster.
Subs, and most of the time the subs appear. Once in a while, it's too fast.
Oh my god, that's impressive.
Okay. One thing I did watch, just through like randomness, I started watching, just like YouTube recommended this like anime recap.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this guy recapping Akame ga Kill.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of the anime, but I had heard about it before, and I was like, the title of the video was like, when every main character dies. And I was like, okay, oh, this is like a 40-minute video summary of the show. I'll watch this. And it was pretty amusing. And it made me think of AC Wraith, who's always watching the anime recaps and anime reacts videos. And I was like, oh, AC Wraith, I see you now. I see you. And I ended up watching another recap of this 90s anime called Blue Gender that I remember was also one in like, damn, everybody on the show dies. So now I subscribe to some
By the
guy
way,
recapping them.
I will make you a deal.
Okay.
I will watch Three Body Problem if you watch The Glory.
Oh yeah.
I actually really like the Arthdal Chronicles too, but I mean that's
I remember you recommended that to me, and it
Arthdal
sounds
Chronicles is really good, really good. That's like the Game of Thrones Korea. But The Glory is so fucking good. Absolutely amazing. Yes, exactly. It's really good.
So like I am not against this because AC Wraith had recommended it. Netflix keeps recommending it to me, and like it looks right up my alley. Like it's a good South Korean, horror thriller. Which
I would call it horror. I would call it a thriller. It's a revenge thriller.
I'm always down for that.
Yeah, it's essentially about a woman who gets ultimate vengeance, like her campaign of vengeance against her high school bullies.
Okay. I'll always remember.
So good. So good.
South Korea, and I don't know why this is. There has to be like a cultural reason. Part of me thinks that like maybe South Korea today is kind of where Hollywood was in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
because South Korea just makes a lot of like really good crime dramas.
Oh
Like
God, yes. Oh
David,
God, yes.
like David
And
Fincher.
supernatural dramas,
See, I'm
supernatural
not even
romance
thinking that.
dramas, and all that. Oh, so good.
I'm thinking like David Fincher crime dramas, like Seven. There's a lot of good like thriller cop
Taut,
shows.
taut.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, especially crime drama.
yeah,
They're
crime
thriller,
gangsters.
gangsters, serial killers. Oh, so good, such good
Yeah,
ones.
it's like, oh man, I remember when Hollywood made these type of movies and not just big budget superhero fantasy movies.
Yeah, yeah,
But yes,
absolutely.
if you want to,
Vincenzo's another really, really, really
oh, I
good
know
one.
Vincenzo. There was one. I think you recommended it to me too. It was like Dexter, but time travel or something like that. Oh, what was the name of it? It just came out a couple weeks ago. Oh,
Dexter,
Killer Paradox. Killer Paradox. That might be it.
a killer parrot. No, I never did. I never saw it. Yeah, that's a real thing. I don't think I've seen it. I haven't seen it.
Okay, yeah, I
I
think
haven't
a
seen it.
Killer Paradox. But yeah. Anyways, if you want to watch something that will make you feel bad, I Saw the Devil is like it's at this point it's like maybe 10 years old, but it's probably one of the tensest, like most edge of your seat, vicious crime thrillers I've ever seen, and it's so good.
What's it called?
I Saw the Devil.
Okay.
Um, and what's crazy is the guy who directed that has a crime thriller show on Apple that I want to see. Except that, this motherfucking Dragons game keeps sucking every hour of my day.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Well, any other games that you played?
um, no, I hopped into Helldivers for just a second to like get credit for the major orders.
AC Ray says no time travel I know of in the Killer Paradox.
Yeah, I don't think it was time travel, but it was something like Dexter, where it's like a killer is being hunted by the cops, but the killer kills bad people, so you're kind of rooting for him. I
Man,
think the Killer Paradox was the one.
that definitely sparks a memory.
Yeah, Killer Paradox is about, according to Google, when one accidental killing leads to another, an average college student finds himself stuck in an endless cat and mouse chase with a shrewd detective who will stop at nothing to kill him.
But he
Oh,
says yes, it's a killer of bad people.
yeah. Yep, Killer of Bad Killers. Okay. So yeah, I've got a ton of shit to watch. I will put the Glory higher up on my list. It's Fallout, the Glory, Killer Paradox.
So satisfying. Every minute of it is so satisfying. Yeah, it's not even a cat and mouse. It is just a cat. And the cat used to be the mouse. It's essentially the mouse going after the cat in the most vicious, satisfying ways. Long game, vicious, satisfying ways. So good.
Okay.
Yep. So, anything else you played?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. So we might as well then hit the news. This is the GameHounds News Gaming with Gamer and Nick DiNicola, and our first item is.
Jeez, this is the fastest we've ever gotten news.
I know it's not. We haven't even been at it for 40
on?
minutes. This is great. I mean, I'm not complaining.
This is gonna be like an hour-long show.
Which would be great. This is what it should be. Anyway, all right. So I guess we'll make the top of the fold be the thing that is the top of the fold, which is what this is named after.
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
I gotta know what Yves Guillemot did.
We ought to know what Yves Guillemot. Well, let me tell you what Yves Guillemot did. Ubisoft. You know that Ubisoft in April got rid of turned off all the servers for the crew. They said they were shutting down the servers for the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, they did give refunds to anybody who had just recently bought the cruise because they didn't know that the servers were going down. So they did offer some refunds to some people, but there were a lot of people who bought that game, played it a lot, paid full price, and when the servers went down, it was still on their systems. It's still sitting in their library. And realistically, there are a lot of games that the servers go down that people, if they really love them, you can create a local LAN and play it, your own local server and continue playing a game. I mean, um, 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 Steel Battalion's a perfect example of that.
Hmm.
Well, they'll never be able to do that for The Crew because Yves Guillemot and Ubisoft decided to go into users' accounts and delete copies of The Crew from users' accounts.
Wait, really?
Yep. The company reached into their Ubisoft Connect accounts and revoked the licenses.
Wow. So that means that you can't even play it offline.
No. I mean, never. It was always an online only game anyway. But
No.
you can't now create a LAN or do some other workaround to play it with your friends.
Yeah. Wow.
And people are pissed because, of course, they paid full price. I believe it was $70 for this game, and they're saying this is theft. This is downright theft because they purchased the game with their money. They received no warning that Ubisoft would delete their license. They did know that the servers were going down April 1st, but they didn't get any indication that they were going to revoke all the licenses for everything.
Yeah.
So even when they're attempting to launch the game, they're getting notifications that their access is no longer possible. And when I was saying that Yves Guillemot proved you right,
Yeah.
he proved you right about physical copies.
No. Yeah.
I have sung the praises of digital downloads for convenience for the last 12 years. Since the minute they started happening, I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And now I'm starting to get it.
I mean, I still buy 99.9% of everything digitally.
Right. But still, there is that issue of I am surprised that it took this long for someone to do this, but I'm not surprised that it was Ubisoft that did it. It was a really shitty thing to do.
I think this is the first time it's happened with a game.
Yeah.
But I remember a decade ago, this happened with Amazon and Kindles and, of all things, 1984.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I remember, I think that was one of the first instances of a company deleting content from users' device.
Yes. But see, that was because, even so, people bought it. So in theory, they should be able to still use it. But in this case, there's nothing forcing them. There's nothing forcing Ubisoft to do this. Whereas, at least with the Amazon one, it had to do with licensing, and they had to do that. They were being forced by the owner of the IP to do it that way.
Yeah.
In this case, this was 100% Ubisoft deciding on its own to just revoke all the licenses of people who bought the game.
Which is crazy because, it's you already turned the servers off.
Why do you care?
Why?
Exactly. I understand. You want to turn the service off? Absolutely. It's costing you more money every month that you're not making up. You want to stop servicing the game? Fine, stop servicing the game. It costs you nothing to leave those licenses on people's machines. And if they want to create their own little local LAN party and create some workaround, let them do it. But no. Good thing it wasn't a quadruple A game. Otherwise, people might really be pissed.
Oh, yeah. Well, just wait 5 years. They'll do this with Skull and Bones, too.
All three people who actually like Skull and Bones? At least The Crew is not a bad game.
At least The Crew got a sequel.
Yeah, The Crew was not a bad game. Not, my cup of tea, but there were certainly enough people who really enjoyed it. But yeah, so Eve Gimo proved you right after all these years that digital downloads are inherently dangerous. And I was saying that no one would ever do that. It makes no sense to do it. Forgetting that people like Eve Guillemot will do things just to be a dick.
Remember, this was the company where the guy was like, "We want players to be comfortable not owning their games."
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, Ubisoft,
next item.
real downfall. Let's
Do you want to
see.
take a victory lap? You can. I would fully understand if you did.
Nah. I have other things. Okay, good news. We'll do good news.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate 3 has officially swept all the major swept. It's sweepted. It is
It is
sweeped.
in the middle of a sweepening.
It sweeped all of the major Game of the Year awards. I
course it
think just last
course it did.
week it won the BAFTA.
Yeah.
But what's impressive? So there are 5 major Game of the Years. There
Mhm.
is the Golden Joysticks,
Right.
the Game Awards, otherwise known as the Keeleys,
Mhm.
the DICE, the
Mhm.
Game Developers Choice Awards, and the
Mhm.
BAFTAs.
Mhm.
So what makes this impressive is that no other game has done this.
I was going to say, has that ever been done before?
Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring both came very close.
What, 4 out of 5?
They both got 4 out of 5. But Baldur's Gate is the first one that has gone 5 for 5. It's the first one to pull off the quintuple crown.
Oh my God, Larian must just be beside themselves right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So it's just cool. It's nice to see. It's nice to see a good game getting recognized.
Yeah. And it is a really good game.
Yeah.
Let's see. My next item is oh, by the way, there we go. Thank you very much. AC Ray says y'all lose licenses you're getting in your game passes all the time. Yeah, but that's Game Pass as opposed to I bought this game with my money. I paid full price for this game, and then they have turned off my ability to even start it up.
There's a difference between buying something and subscribing to something.
Mm-hmm.
At least when you're subscribing to something, there's the understanding that I don't own this and that it will come and go.
Yeah. It's they say it's a volatile digital ownership. I would almost venture to guess it's not really digital ownership. It's digital leasing.
Yeah.
There's the link. Yeah, and they he had to use a tiny URL for that. I know. Sorry. I agree with you. Tiny URL is a terrible substitute. But when you have a headline that long, what are you going to do? All right. So, AC Ray says, I got it for free or bundled. Yeah, but a lot of people didn't. And there are people that did lose their licenses. So they lost it right along with everybody else. That's not okay. There's a very big difference between getting it free or bundled and then having it revoked.
What's also crazy,
and then paying $60 or $70 for it and then getting it revoked.
What's also crazy is that, like, I guess they're doing this on their PC service, right? Ubisoft Connect. So they're not doing this through PSN or Xbox Live.
Right.
Because this made me think of the Konami game, the Kojima one. PT. Like, Konami didn't go into my PlayStation and delete PT.
No.
But I think that's because PlayStation was like the intermediary between them,
right,
that prevented them from doing that. That said, you can take this off the storefront, but you can't delete it from users' accounts.
Right.
And so,
and in this case, in order to play it, you must be connected to Ubisoft Connect. And so their Ubisoft Connect essentially acts as a middleman to the middleman.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that
so
if you
renders
had
it useless.
If you had a PlayStation or Xbox copy of The Crew, you could probably still boot it up but since there's no server to connect to, it wouldn't connect to anything. But I imagine like that game is still in your account. Like they can't delete it from your Xbox or PlayStation account.
I don't know. It's probably still in the account, but when they tried to open it, it won't even
Oh yeah,
launch.
it won't work.
Launch.
Yeah.
It says
But,
you
like-
can't launch it because you don't have a license.
But at least I still have an Xbox Live license for the game. I still have a PSN license for the game,
I don't know.
which is something.
I don't know. I would be curious to know. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah,
uh,
I
I
never
would
bought
think
it,
it
so I
would.
can't go
Yeah,
into
I
my
didn't either.
download history to
I don't know who else did.
just like
Anybody out there did buy it and lose your license? I'm curious. I think that they probably deleted, because as I recall, you couldn't even get into the game without having a Ubisoft Connect account. All right. So my next item is what have I got? What have I got? What have I got? All right. Yeah, sure. Since we're talking about Ubisoft debuted a new Star Wars game. Let me get to it. New trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, which was shown off at Xbox Game Showcase. And I am trying to copy the link so that we can show it on here. Okay, get to it. Oh, come on, you son of a bitch. All right. So, yeah, they debuted this at the Xbox showcase. Looks all right. I mean, it is the first, I believe this is the first Star Wars game of Ubisoft's.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the first time that they've done a Star Wars game. Other than that's right. Star Wars Just Dance Connect game was their other one.
No.
It looks really cool. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it looks neat, but I remember when we saw the story trailer for this like a couple months ago, sometime
Uh-huh.
last year. I remember my feeling was that looks like a neat movie. I would like to watch that, but I don't know if I want to play it.
Yeah.
And I still kind of feel that way, where I would rather watch this as a movie than spend, 80 hours in an open world running around doing
Mhm.
stuff.
It does look just like a movie, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. Although it was funny, I watched this trailer and like, oh, there's a certain part like 30 seconds into the trailer where they're like, "Oh, you're Kay Vess and you work for Balin something something, leader of the blah blah blah," and I was just like, "Oh, holy shit!" You threw out like 3 or 4 proper nouns at me that all
Just went in one ear, out the other.
it's like they just bleed into each other. I have no idea who any of them
Yeah,
are.
that went full nerd.
It's just like, okay, you didn't need to name all these people because the names are meaningless at this point until we get the game. Like you
Right.
just
Right.
it was one of those moments that was like, oh, I understand the people that call other people nerds.
Yeah. But I mean, keep in mind, this is not gameplay. This is cutscene. So, I mean,
Yes.
cutscene's always interesting, but
I think there was a few brief moments of gameplay in the trailer that's like of her jumping around, and it's like, okay, that looks like it's from the angle of a third person camera.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's looks interesting. So yeah, that's the new Star Wars Outlaws that
Yeah, we'll have to see.
looks kind of cool, but I mean,
I feel like
is it going to be quadruple A? That's what I want to know.
I feel like after Skull and Bones and the last Assassin's Creed game that got okay reviews, people are down on Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
So this feels like a real make or break moment for them.
Oh, AC Ray says, I currently have the crew on my Ubisoft account, but marked as inactive. It says you no longer have access to this game. Why not check the store to peruse your adventures or to pursue your adventures? So you can't even get into it on Xbox or on other consoles.
Yeah.
Which console was that? Or was it a console?
If it's AC Wraith, it was probably PC. God damn it, you're gonna make me yawn.
Sorry. PC.
Yeah, he says
Yes,
PC.
PC. Um.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. I've got some other ones. Let's talk about EA. Let's go talk about the other big publisher in trouble.
Okay.
So Motive Studio, which worked on the Dead Space remake, the kind of widely celebrated Dead Space remake, was recently in the news for now basically being enlisted to work for Battlefield. So that now they are a Battlefield support studio.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing started when Jeff Grubb of Giant Bomb
Mm-hmm.
said that Motive was working on a Dead Space 2 remake,
Mm-hmm.
but that project was canceled and they were moved to Battlefield. And that made a lot of people upset because they're like, hey, that Dead Space remake was really good. And now you're canceling it to basically make them a support studio for Battlefield, which is inevitably going to come out with another game that's probably going to have server issues at launch. It's probably going to come out to mixed reviews. And then 2-3 years later after that, people will go, no, this new Battlefield is actually good now. But then they'll release another one. And the cycle of failure and redemption will continue. But then EA was like, no, they were never working on Dead Space 2.
Uh-huh.
And it got into this weird game of telephone back and forth. Jason Schreier even got involved, tweeting that a rumor today suggested EA shelved the Dead Space 2 remake, which an EA spokesperson denied, saying there was no validity to the story. People familiar with the project tell Bloomberg that EA's statement is correct. Motive has been on other projects for nearly a year. And so
So where did the whole idea that there be a Dead Space 2 remake come from?
It all comes from what seems like it was just what is this? In the article, Jason Schreier confirmed EA's statement while adding that EA Motive did spend a few months conceiving ideas for a new entry in the series, but that none were greenlit and fizzled out before they could get very far, in part because the Dead Space remake reportedly missed internal targets. So basically, like, they started working on Dead Space 2, but then Dead Space didn't sell very well. So
Well, they didn't even start working on it. They started spitballing Dead Space.
Yeah, they
2.
started spitballing ideas. But it also comes from the fact that Dead Space remake came out, like, got massively good reviews, and so there was kind of this assumption that, like, well, you're gonna keep going with it, right? Because
it didn't sell enough.
Apparently, it didn't sell enough. But then you also have to wonder, how much could it sell? I don't know. And to see a studio like that then get drafted into Battlefield, which just seems like at a certain point, and I say this as someone who loved past tense, the Battlefield games, like, they're kind of an anchor around EA's neck.
They're eating everything. They are the black hole of a game at EA where they just eat everything.
And and it makes me think immediately about Activision, how almost every studio at Activision slowly became a Call of Duty support studio. And it's like, is this the beginning of the same thing happening for Battlefield? Except that, Call of Duty broke sales records every year and Battlefield does not.
Yeah.
So is it worth it? And like, look, I love the Battlefield games, but like, 2042 had a lot of cool ideas. It had the cool, like, AI mode.
Oh yeah.
But like, they just kind of keep trying to reinvent the wheel. And in doing so, they kind of ruin what made it good in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
It also sucks that Motive is working on Battlefield. The other part of Motive is working on an Iron Man game.
Oh,
And
interesting.
that's after EA has said, yeah, we're not going to do many licensed games anymore. And it's like, oh, poor Motive. Like, you're working on a game that your publisher has said, yeah, we really don't care about this stuff anymore. And then you get drafted as a support studio into a Battlefield franchise that like always comes out a little chaotic,
Yeah.
and it all kind of makes me question like how is EA doing? Like we haven't really
That's a
heard
really good question.
much out of them. They're kept alive by not FIFA anymore. Now it's EA Sports FC.
Hmm.
But like they're kind of kept alive by those sports franchises, but everything else about them is just kind of floundering.
Yeah.
They're floundering less than Ubisoft, but
Yes.
it still feels like they're
Let's just say
grasping at straws.
I wish I bought that much stock. As much stock as I bought in Ubisoft, I really wish I'd bought it in EA. Let's just say that. You don't want to know how much I've lost 40% of it.
Well, look, there's
Skull
every
Boat's coming
chance,
out.
there's every chance that Ubisoft can turn it around. Like
Exactly.
games take such an absurdly long time to make.
Yeah.
That a studio can be announced and closed before they even get anything done.
True. All right, my next item is, let's see. What have I got? Oop, hold on a second. Let's make my fingers do the right things. Okay. Here's something to make you feel awful. Speaking of Activision. Your bad idea of the week. Mike Ibarra, you will remember him as being the former president of Blizzard before he was like president of Blizzard for like half a second and then got a massive golden parachute when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard. He came out with a very interesting tweet the other day, suggesting that he's always thought that the idea of tipping for a game, meaning at the end of a game, you have a game, plays great, you're wonderful, you think it's fantastic, to throw a tip at the game to be a really good idea. Here is the quote. I've thought about this idea for a while as a player, since I've been diving into single player games lately. When I beat a game, there's some that just leave me in awe of how amazing the experience was. At the end of the game, I've often thought, I wish I could give these folks another $10 or $20 because it was worth more than my initial $70. And they didn't try to nickel and dime me every second, says the guy who worked for Activision. Games like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, etc. I know $70 is already a lot, but it's an option at the end of the game I wish I had at times. Some games are that special. I know most will dislike this idea. By the way, I realize that we are tired of the tipping in everything else, but I view this different from a pressure to tip type scenario many face and give feedback on. So Mike Ibarra clearly has never worked in the service industry where tipping is expected. And here's the thing. When you have an option to tip, whether it be expected or not expected, i.e. the tip jar, here's what happens. The owners reduce pay of the workers because they expect it to be compensated, the rest to be compensated by tips. If you introduce tipping into video games, exactly the same thing would happen. Developers, people that actually work on it, wouldn't get paid anymore. In fact, whatever increase that they get in wages, as meager as it is now, would go away. And executives would still rake in more because A, they would keep a portion of those tips, and B, they would equate in their heads that it's like, well, you're getting tips anyway, so I don't need to pay you as much.
Yeah. Also, what's crazy is that this already exists. It's called DLC and microtransactions, and also just buying the game for another platform.
Yeah.
I bought Baldur's Gate 3 for PSN, you know, for
Mhm.
PlayStation.
Right.
When they announced that physical edition with all the bonuses, part of me was like, "Ooh, I should get that."
I'm still tempted to get that.
But like,
Because
if you
I need to get it for Apple anyway. I need to get it
Mm.
for Mac, and I'm waiting for them to release it for Mac or to make a
Ah.
good version for Mac, and then I'm gonna buy the massive version for Mac.
And like, look, if you really love it, just buy it for PC, buy it for Mac, buy it for Xbox, buy it for any of the other like 5 platforms. Elden Ring is great. You know what? Maybe I should just go buy Elden Ring on Xbox.
Yeah,
Or I'll just buy the DLC.
buy the DLC.
Like
Yep.
the whole point of the microtransactions and all this stuff of adding microtransactions to single player games like Dragon's Dogma 2 has a kind of like they're not it's when done wrong, it's like, yeah, we're gonna extract all the money from you. But when done right, it's like, oh, this is really cool. Sure.
Right.
You see this in mobile games all the time. You have a free to play mobile game, and it's like, hey, this is really cool. I'll drop $2 to stop showing me like auto ads.
Right.
Like mobile
Or
games have
even
this
with
all the
Baldur's
time.
Gate. Baldur's Gate has no DLC.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate has microtransactions, but there are little add-ons, horse armor things that you can go in and buy for a few bucks. If
Also,
you
like I
really
said, you can
love it,
just buy it for
go
another
buy
platform.
something from it.
Like
Also, go in,
you can just buy it for another platform.
buy it for well, maybe you don't want to spend another $70,
Well,
but maybe
then,
you won't want to buy it.
okay.
You want to tip like $2 or
Then you know what?
$3.
Just wait a year for it to go on sale and buy it on Xbox for $40 or
Exactly.
whatever your tipping limit is.
Yeah.
Like,
Speaking of which, is it out for Mac yet, or is it any good for Mac yet?
I haven't heard anything, but like,
Oh no! What
this,
I wanted to do is I needed to go cross-platform. That's the problem.
but yeah, like this concept exists already. It's just in different forms that aren't explicitly stated. Tips, and
Right.
also like sure, when you say like, "Oh, this game was so good, I just want to give you some extra money," what that implies is that like the idea is when you buy a product, you play it, you enjoy it, and you think it was worth the money. Like that should be the default. But I feel like his suggestion is coming from this place where the initial purchase, you know, it's not guaranteed, right? Oh, you bought the game and you hate it. Well, shit out of luck for you. Like it's this idea that just because someone bought the game doesn't really mean that they might enjoy it or not. It's
Right.
like it's a level of thinking from an executive in a world where there's no demos. We don't want to give you a demo of a game because then you might not buy it. Then you might realize this isn't for you.
Right.
It's like, well, and with this idea that, oh, I bought this game and I ended up liking it, so I'm going to give you more money. It's like,
Mhm.
well, no, the idea is if you bought it, you should have bought it because you liked it. Like that satisfaction, that level of like, I'm happy to give you my money. That's the initial purchase. That's the whole point of the initial purchase.
Right. AC Ray says, "Pay what you want." Games on itch are bad enough. I always feel like I'm offering a developer a stick of gum for their couch. Chaos says, "Okay, so maybe I missed a bit of this, but like also when you tip, you are tipping one person, not an entire game studio.
Yes, that's
Also,
true.
restaurants aren't potentially making hundreds of millions compared to studios." Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Basically, everything about this is bad.
Right. Right. It's
Coming from someone who
who
clearly like
knows
doesn't
better.
coming from someone who's like you really don't understand the perspective of the average person in terms of like the financials of games and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're thinking in such an infantile like unthought through way that makes me wonder how you got to be president of a major game studio. This is one of those like, I got a great idea, guys. Let's do this.
Let's add a
This
tip jar.
I got a tip jar for the devs. It'll be great. You'll love it. And it's like, didn't think this through, my friend. Think this through before you open. But this is so much of those. I'm going to say it. It's kind of a millennial and post-millennial snowflake thinking of like,
I
I
don't think
have a
that.
great idea. I think it's great. It must be a great idea.
I don't think that. I think it's more like hustle culture. Like, oh, we wanna. How much can we get from this? Whoa, what are we gonna do? It's a finance bro meets tech bro,
Yeah, but
right?
also not thinking it through at
No, that's
all.
that's not thinking it through is pretty classical tech bro and finance bro behavior.
True. It feels like it's a trend with studios. They aren't thinking of games as a product to be sold, but a vehicle for continual
Yes,
profit generation. Yeah.
that's a good point. This is an idea of,
And he
you
probably
know
said
what?
that thinking that it was like very pro developer. Like this is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
proving, showing that I appreciate developers. It's like, no, guy, dude, think this through. This
Look,
is
man.
not a good idea. In fact, it's anti-developers because what's gonna happen? Think this through.
Look, man. I just want you love our game so much. You want to throw a few extra bucks at the developer. I'm going to take a 60% cut of that tip, but you know what? 40% of that is going to go to the developers. That's
I'm
like a
I'm gonna
it's
I'm gonna
it's a
take a 60. You're gonna tip me, and then I'm gonna give them what I think they should
yeah,
get.
but also, that 40% tip is going to be split among the 200 employees. So, your $2 tip is going to give them, like, I don't know, an extra half a cent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm gonna get 60 cents.
Yep.
But yeah, it's this idea, especially of what he mentioned. Like he mentioned Baldur's Gate,
Yeah.
which is an interesting choice because like there's no DLC, there's no microtransactions. So like Chaos said, how do you make a game with no DLC or microtransactions a vehicle for continual profit? Well, let's add a tip jar.
Add a tip
That's
jar.
that's a way of like, oh, we love your game. We
Absolutely.
just want to give you more money. How do we
Right.
monetize this thing
Right.
that is
Right.
explicitly
Right.
not monetized beyond the initial purchase?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go because I want to get the stuffing out of the oven. Be right back.
Okay, okay. Let's see then. What's a good? Oh, this is a good stupid one that will we can talk about what Edie's gone. There we go. Yeah, Square Enix now makes some pet merchandise. And this is basically just like some sponsored pet stuff. You've got a little dog bed of the slime from Dragon Quest. You've got a little toy Buster Sword from Final Fantasy. You've got a dog bed with a bunch of logos from Kingdom Hearts. You've got little dog bandanas of things. It's all like kind of cute, but also kind of funny that this is an official merchandise that Square Enix is like actually playing up and promoting relatively, you know, a lot. But they've got to do something to make up for selling the American studios to Embracer, who then sold them off to someone else. I forget who. Oh wait, let's see. Chaos also was talking about the tips. Also, tip jar will be on $30 to $60 skins and cheap ass DLC. Oh yes, of course. But so yeah, on the dog stuff, some of this actually looks kind of cute. I would totally get a toy Buster Sword for the cats, hoping that they would play with it, just because it's kind of cute. It's cute and goofy, but it's kind of funny that I guess this is official merchandise that they haven't done before. And let's see. Oh, I want to hang on to the special announcement until Edie comes back. Let's talk about the Triple I showcase. So the Triple I showcase was a uh, an initiative by a group of publishers and stuff that basically were like, hey, we want to kind of create this mid-tier of indie game, or like this higher version of indie game. And so they called it the Triple I Initiative, has a play on Triple A, but they're still indie games. As part of this, the biggest announcements that come out of it were Slay the Spire 2, which is a sequel to the kind of big indie hit Slay the Spire. But what's worth noting about Slay the Spire 2 is that it is made on the Godot engine, whereas the first one was made on Unity. After the whole Unity debacle with their runtime fee, the developer of Slay the Spire specifically said, like, unless this changes, we are going to move off of Unity. Even though we've developed a lot of Slay the Spire 2 in Unity, we will move off to a different engine. Well, Unity kind of caved and changed their runtime fee thing, but the developer of Slay the Spire 2 still went and switched engines. And so this is made in Godot, not Unity, which is just like, look, Unity messed up. They can never go back. They can never get that goodwill back. In addition to that, there's let me share the screen. That way people can see a little more of what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a Risk of Rain 2 update that's
Want me to pull it up for you while you talk and I can do it?
Oh, no, I've got it going right here.
Okay.
Dino Lords was another big one announced.
We didn't.
Which is kind of cool because it's basically a...
No, you're fired.
What, this?
Yeah, you need to make it full screen.
Okay,
there we go.
Dino Lords 2, or Dino Lords, is basically a medieval city builder, except that you fight dinosaurs and can tame dinosaurs and ride dinosaurs.
That's kind of cool.
Through your medieval kingdoms.
I'm okay with this.
So you've got like stegosauruses covered in shields being tanks. You've got what's got T-Rexes busting through walls. You've got people fighting velociraptors with swords. It's the kind of goofy idea that you're like, how has nobody done this before?
Yeah, no kidding. Knights on dinosaurs.
Yep. Vampire Survivors is getting Contra DLC. Oops. Which is basically just exactly what it sounds like. You know, Contra meets Vampire Survivors. You got a video of it here. Never Alone 2. So what? Okay, Never Alone was a game that came out in like 2014 or 15. And it was kind of cool because it was basically a Discovery Channel documentary in game form, where it was a side-scrolling puzzle platformer about this Inuit girl and this like her spirit fox. But along the way, it kind of like dug into Inuit myths and all that stuff, right? And so it was kind of like this little documentary about Inuit culture in game form. And this is a sequel to that, which is cool to see. It's coming a little long after the fact, which is unfortunate.
When did the first one come out?
2014.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But that's a really cool thing. Now, Never Alone, like I highly recommend Never Alone.
Nick!
What?
There's sun. Do you have sun yet?
Oh, yeah, we have sun.
Oh my God. Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll warm up. Or just get colder. Sorry, I'm still freezing.
Darkest Dungeon 2 announced an update, a free update coming to it. There's a Palworld Arena, basically a PvP arena coming to Palworld.
No.
Where is it? Okay, this is the other big game that was announced. Basically, the developer of Dead Cells is making a 2D side-scrolling roguelike Prince of Persia game. And this comes, months after...
Cass says, now this is the Age of Empires 5 I've been waiting for. I know! Talking about Dino Lords.
Yeah, well, why didn't Age of Empires add dinosaurs?
So anyway, I know all of a sudden when you said 2D side scroller, AC Wraith was all over this. So
Yeah. This comes on the heels of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown coming out earlier this year.
it looks like Prince of Persia meets Yellow Submarine.
What's also crazy is eventually this is going to switch into gameplay. It has the exact same art style.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's see. Come on. We'll let's skip ahead and get into it. Come on, guy.
How
Come
cool
on.
would it be if you were playing that?
See, that's the thing. I played Dead Cells,
there it is.
and Dead Cells was a really good action platformer, but I kind of got bored of it because it was a roguelike, and I got tired of just playing the first level over and over again. And so, as much as this looks like a cool Prince of Persia game, I imagine the same thing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play the first level and go, "Oh, this is really cool," and then I'll play the first level again and again and again,
Yeah.
and again and again and again and again, to the point where I'm like, I just want to stop. But anyways, so Prince of Persia: The Rogue, which is appropriate for a roguelike, is coming to early access May 14th. Now, that's pretty soon.
Yeah.
But that's early access, which means the game itself probably won't be out until like next year.
Right.
But yeah, there were a bunch of other things mentioned in the III initiative, but it's just kind of a cool way of showcasing indie games, right? If we don't have E3 anymore and Keeley's kind of trying to take that over, this feels like it could be a good mid-tier level situation. Where it's like, it's not the low level indie games, but it's like, hey, the indie studios that have already put out a hit game, what else are they working on?
Right. I like this. And I'm kind of sorry it's a showcase and it's not a convention. Because if they had a III convention, you best know that you and I would go to that instead of E3.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Although I mean, technically not E3.
PAX.
PAX.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
PAX is great. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love PAX.
I mean,
but
there's also there are a lot of good indie games at PAX.
yeah, exactly. That's why I love going to PAX, is because of the indie games.
Yeah. So yeah,
You
this is
just gonna
probably
show the Dino Lords all over.
I'm just showing it
'cause
off
you
again
just love
because
it.
it's a fun, goofy ass concept.
Do we know when this is coming out?
Let's see. It's coming to early access first, but no date was revealed.
Ah, well.
You can wishlist it though.
Oh man, I hear wish lists on that must be just incredible.
Yeah.
Can you see how many people have wish listed something?
Maybe.
Because I would imagine it just went through the roof after this
I
showcase.
have to open Steam. Maybe Chaos can get Steam going faster.
Yeah, Chaos or AC Wraith. To be able to see if this, because I can't imagine that
Jesus.
everybody didn't pound that like it owned them money. I'm looking it up too.
Steam is asking for my password, and I don't remember what my Steam password is.
Can you see Steam wish list? So you see.
Hang on.
You can see a breakdown of wish list numbers by region or country in the regional sales reports for each app. Not for pre-purchase. No, not for pre-purchase, but wish listing. Now, this is according to Steamworks documentation. Within each app's details page on the sales activation reports portal. So it looks like no, we can't see it, but the developer can. It says,
look at them sitting all nice.
Oh, look at them smudgeons. Hi, Joopy. You weirdo cat. Yeah, I would imagine that their pre-purchase went through the roof, and I would imagine that KS is.
Oh my god, son of a bitch!
What?
The Steam app is also asking for my password. I don't fucking remember it.
All right. Let me
Well,
see if I
okay.
can
It looks like I can never log on to Steam again.
do I even I don't think I actually have Steam loaded on this thing. Do I? I don't think I do.
Holy yes.
Steam store. Nope, it's all I don't have the app
Well,
on the new computer.
thankfully, Chrome remembers what my password is.
Oh, that's a terrible place to put your password.
Well, you know what? It works because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it.
That's why you get a password vault that's not Chrome.
Also, this password, I never would have guessed it in a million years.
All right, and I'm loading in right now. I have to use the mobile app to authenticate my account. Oh, I hope
Why
this
is
doesn't work
this-
for me. I'm sure I've logged into my Steam account on my phone before. Yeah, there we go. We're good.
Why is this not working? Shit. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to change the password.
All right. So let's see. We are going to stop that screen. Oops. We're going to start this screen. Where is it? Steam. Come on. Baldur's Gate, Killer Paradox. Oh, there we go. Steam. All right. So, where might I see something for?
You
Oh,
probably have to
actually,
look for Dino Lord.
Dino Lords. Where is the search? Add to your wish list. Yeah, I'm not seeing how many people have. I think you can only they can do it. Only the dudes can do it. The developers, Northplay. Well, I'm adding it to my wish list anyway. All right. So yeah. It looks amazing. Yeah, planned release date TBA, early access game, we don't have a date. The official Discord server, related news.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
logging into
sorry.
Steam.
Finally,
10 minutes.
logging into Steam. All right. So, while you're doing that, I'm going to hit the next topic I have,
Okay.
which would be.
That's all. That was all my stuff, anyways.
All right. Yeah, I only have one more myself. Just about Disney Plus.
I mean, I've got a lot more news items.
Oh, I have no more news items. This is my last news item.
Okay.
So if you have been password sharing with your Disney Plus account, you might want to rethink that. Disney Plus is about to go the way of Netflix. Stop yawning, Nick. That wasn't me this time. Disney Plus is about to go the way of Netflix in that they are going to be hunting down and murdering every account that is sharing a password. The Disney did earlier this year and change its Disney Plus subscriber agreement to add in language that made it very clear that it is not okay to share passwords. And in a recent interview with CNBC, Disney CEO Bob Iger, who saved his job this last week, announced that the company is going to be, quote, launching our first real foray into password sharing. And this is going to be coming in June. And Bob Iger went on to say that the plans are going to kick off in, quote, just a few countries in a few markets. And then it would affect all subscribers by September. So Disney also said, or he also said, that it's going to be like Netflix, where with Netflix, if you wanted to password share on your account, you could for an extra $8. So they weren't going to make people all get their own accounts. But if you did want to password share with, say, somebody in your family who doesn't live with you, or your kid that's at college or whatever, your mom, and they didn't live with you, that if you wanted to password share, that you could do so for an extra fee of $8. Now, they haven't said that it's going to be $8, but they did say that they're going to uh, allow the password sharing for an extra fee in addition to your regular base fee. So keep that in mind. And if you have been enjoying piggybacking on somebody else's account, that is going to end sometime between June and September.
It'll be interesting because I've shared my Disney Plus account with Rachel's grandparents, but my Hulu account is shared with her parents and my parents.
You know
But
that
also,
Disney and Hulu combined into one app, right?
yeah, they did. Except you know what? You know what? I would appreciate that a lot more if it didn't also continue to require you to subscribe to both services.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers. Also, you know what? Maybe it's good because the last thing I watched on Disney Plus was the Echo TV show that came out late last year. That was kind of bad. It was a bad show. It was just
I don't see any reason to get a Disney Plus. I'm not
don't
gonna lie.
don't do it.
I
Don't.
just don't.
You know what? You know what you should get it for? You know the one thing that's like really genuinely worth it?
Mhm.
Simpsons.
I stopped watching Simpsons quite some time ago.
Oh, that's fine. But all the past seasons are there. And you know what's great? Whenever Halloween comes around, they have a special playlist of all the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Yeah, Treehouse of Horror
Perfect.
is pretty amazing.
Perfect. The rest of the year, don't bother with Disney Plus.
Yeah. So yeah, keep that in mind that you might have to dig a little deeper in your pocket if you want to like have somebody piggyback off your account, or you piggyback up. Still,
No.
even so, you can work it out with somebody that it's still cheaper for somebody to piggyback off somebody else's account than it is for someone else than to buy your own account. It's still cheaper.
AC Wraith is saying that X-Men 97 is very good, which okay, I watched the X-Men show as a kid. Maybe I'll watch it, but I gotta disagree with you. Yes, Secret Invasion sucked. Secret Invasion. Okay, Edie, here's my pitch.
All right.
Don't watch the Three Body Problem. You have to watch Secret Invasion on Disney Plus because it is so bad. It's just the kind of thing that you keep watching, going like,
It's like, here, Tate, smell this. Does this feel bad to you?
you're like, this can't be real, right? Like, wait, the show, like, why? How? You killed off a main character halfway through, and you're never gonna mention it. Just never gonna like, oh hey, it's like a spy buddy cop with one of the buddy cops getting killed halfway through, and the other guy's like completely unaffected. And then not only that, I'm gonna spoil it. Basically, the show ends with a call for genocide against aliens, and that's where the show ends. With like, we now know these shape-shifting aliens are among us. We must kill them all. And then Samuel Jackson, who was trying to defend and save all the aliens, leaves the planet for a space station with his wife. It's like, I'm trying to save you alien refugees, but now that I accidentally started a genocide against you, peace, I'm out. It's like, what the fuck did I just watch? What did I watch? Not only is it so bad, but it managed to be boring.
Oh
How
God. And why would you want me to get Disney Plus so I could see this?
Because you need everyone should watch Secret Invasion because that is like the base level. Look how bad something can be. watch Secret Invasion has the baseline for bad, then watch every other show on TV and realize that
They're all better.
they're all bad. They're good. All this shit that people are you complaining about, you got it good. God.
Forget Your Life said, nope, Disney gets no money from me. I know, me either.
Yes.
The previous Marvel
Oh.
series was much better.
They started off really good and then went down. Echo started off really good. It started off like kind of a continuation of Daredevil on Netflix, right? And it was like, oh, this lady feels like she's going to start a like crime revolution against Kingpin. It's like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Drops that halfway through. It's a 6-episode series that forgets what the plot was about 3 episodes in. Not only that, I will say, Echo
Yes.
is a frustrating character because she's one of those characters who the show sympathizes with. She's the heroine of the show, but she's kind of an anti-hero, right? And it's like, oh,
Yeah, but
she's
so
trying to do the right
is
thing.
what's her bucket? Jessica. God,
Jessica.
not Jessica. What?
Oh, Jessica Jones.
Jones. Thank you.
Yeah. Except the problem is that Echo does everything possible to fuck up the lives of everyone around her, dragging all the innocent friends and family members into her dangerous crime circle. And at no point is the show like, you realize that you basically brought a gang war to your Native American town. And like, oh, we should forgive her because she learned the value of family. It's like, dude, she almost got everyone in her town murdered. It's like there was a guy with a rocket launcher about to blow up a ceremony, and then he got killed, and everything turned out okay. But it's like, Jesus Christ, lady, you are a danger to everyone around you. You're irresponsible.
You're a terrible person.
You're a horrible human being because you do all this stuff without once considering the consequences for those around you. You are a god-awful person in every facet of the word. But the show likes you, and we want everyone to realize you're just this misunderstood woman. No, she's a horrible human being who should die.
You know what that's called? That's called a villain.
Yeah, that's also called very terrible writing.
Right, but that kind of character is called a villain.
Yes.
A villain, all villains have some kind of reason why they turn to villainy.
Mm-hmm. She really is the villain of her own series, but the show doesn't acknowledge that. It's if anything, it's worth subscribing to Disney Plus just to watch the last couple Marvel shows and realize, like, yo, some TV is good. The TV that you thought was bad, it's not bad. Disney Plus sets like the level.
It can get so much worse.
It can get so bad, and especially when you realize, like, they spent a lot of money. A lot of people's jobs went into creating something so
They
bad.
spent a lot of money taking this IP out of the hands of Netflix, who did it well, so that they could bring it in-house to do that.
Oh God, I say this as someone who liked a lot of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. I'm afraid of what Daredevil is going to be because now that Disney's got their hands on it.
Yeah, I am not getting Disney Plus simply because of the Jessica Jones and Daredevil thing. Those were amazing shows. I don't follow the MCU at all, and I fell in love with those shows. Those shows could have easily been my entree, the thing that sucked me into the MCU. And they took them away, and I doubt that they're going to be able to do as good a job.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that they won't.
If anything, I've been wanting to go back and rewatch Daredevil. And that's if I would watch anything on Disney Plus, that's what it would be. But yeah,
Iron Fist almost made me stop.
Look,
I hated Iron Fist. God, I hated Iron Fist.
I will never stop saying the second season of Iron Fist is actually like just a fun time.
Yeah, it's
It's
better. The
it's
second
so
season
much
is
better.
better. Yeah, it
But
is
the
better,
first
but
season
it's
is
still not good. Not when you look at like Jessica Jones or Daredevil or Punisher. Oh God, Punisher
Punisher was
so
really good.
good. And
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. I fucking loved Luke Cage.
Although
So fucking good.
the last episode of the last season like really pissed me off with
Yeah,
Luke
I know it.
Cage.
I remember it did. I didn't mind it.
But yeah, Disney has had some trouble with their TV output.
They should have just
Maybe they can
never
turn
brought
around.
it in house.
They can
Well,
turn it around.
yeah, they really want Disney Plus to, make money and be a legitimate streaming service. The thing is that I'm right there with Forget Your Life. I will not give them a penny.
Well, also the problem is that it turns out streaming services are really hard and expensive to run. Disney is not a tech company. Disney is a media company, and those are two very different things.
Disney should have just let Netflix do it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyway, that's also my rant about Echo God. I watched that show and I couldn't stop. I'm like, am I high? Like, does no
Is this
one
real
else,
life?
does no one else see how horrible of a person this woman is? Like, what the fuck? She hurts everyone in her life, and everyone just like forgiving her because you're back. You're part of our family, and it's so nice to have you back. Never mind that you almost got us all killed. Fuck Echo. And Secret Invasion, except Secret Invasion is so bad. It's just funny. Anyway.
All right, so next item. And it's all you from here on out. I got nothing.
Oh Jesus. Okay. How deep into the rabbit hole do we want to go?
Not too deep. I'll go. I mean, depends on how much you don't want to do everything else.
Okay. So, Prytania Media.
Media or Medio?
Media. Type.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. You go.
Okay. So, Prytania Media is a publisher that was founded by Jeff and Annie Strain. Jeff Strain has founded several developers in the past, the most notable being the State of Decay 2 developer. I forget what the name is. But he's,
God, I should know this. I'm like trying to access the hard drive and it's
I'm looking at these news stories trying to like find it, but no one mentions the name of the developer. But hey, he founded the studio that developed State of Decay. He then left that studio, and with his wife, he founded Prytania Media.
Undead Labs,
that's what it is. Yes. Prytania Media is like a publisher that owns 4 other developers. And I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey.
Okay.
So a couple months ago in February, one of the developers, Crop Circle Games, Annie Strain was the CEO of Crop Circle Games. In February, all the developers were furloughed. Well, basically without pay, said, hey, go home. We can't pay you, whatever. So they're not laid off, but they all laid off. They're all furloughed. It was very messy. Annie put out a statement, but not until last week. What also happened a couple days ago is that Possibility Space, whose CEO was Jeff Strain, got shut down very, very suddenly.
So the wife's company got shut down.
The wife's developer got shut down.
The husband's developer got shut down.
In February, all of the employees of Crop Circle were furloughed. A couple months later, the studio shut down.
Okay.
Just this week, Possibility Space got shut down.
And that's the husband's studio.
That's the husband's studio. Nicole Carpenter of Polygon got an email from some of the developers of Possibility Space. The Jeff Strain basically blames the press on the studio closure. And he said last week, this is the email from Jeff Strain to his employees about why he shut down Possibility Space. Last week, I received a list of topics and questions from Ethan Gotch, a reporter at Kotaku, regarding an article he's writing about Prytania Media and the closure of Crop Circle Games. Much of it was expected, but I was also stunned to see non-public information about Project Vonnegut, disclosure of our publishing partner with details of our business and financial relationship and details of internal P&L discussions and confidential all-company meetings. Mr. Gotch specifically credits current employees as the source of his information. Leaks of this nature are typically malicious and done by outside hacking, so to see internal team members under a confidentiality agreement engage in this was shocking, given the company's own strict confidentiality and notification obligations. I immediately got on a plane for in-person meetings with our publishing partner to disclose the information breach and to discuss the impact on the project. During that discussion, our partner expressed low confidence that they would be willing to invest the additional resources needed to complete the game, so we mutually agreed to cancel Vonnegut. As a result of the cancellation of the publishing relationship and after careful consideration, I am closing Possibility Space. Today is your last day of employment with Possibility Space and Prytania Media. Your final paycheck, including pay for work through the end of today, would be deposited to your account, along with any other required payments, as dictated by your work location. For employees outside the United States, today will serve as your final notice of pay period, blah, blah, blah. In addition, all employees affiliated through a PEO will have their employment separation processed according to applicable law. It will take a few more days to finalize details of the termination agreement with our publishing partner, calculate our tax, insurance, vendor, and contractor obligations, and any other outstanding liabilities, and then determine what we can offer for severance. I've retained a DC-based global law firm to oversee the wind down of the studio. An employment attorney from that firm will soon I've retained to oversee the wind down studio. Employment attorney will soon follow up to your personal email address with additional details, and that person will be your point of contact from here on out for all matters relating to your employment, including continuation of insurance benefits, severance payments, and/or associated separation agreements. You may keep your development equipment provided you permanently delete all company confidential information, confirm you have done so in writing, and strictly abide by your existing confidentiality obligations, including proper handling of IP, blah, blah, blah. As of today, I'm stepping away from the game industry to focus on my family and care for Annie, which we'll get into later with her statement. I wish all you the best as you navigate this complex industry and all the challenges and opportunity ahead. So basically, he blames this article that Ethan Gotch is writing for Kotaku. And apparently the questions that Ethan asked him prompted him to hop on a plane to go to their, their publishing partners. And their publishing partners then decided, we don't want to keep investing in this game, and canceled it. And then he canceled it and then shut down the studio. Which is a lot. It feels like a bit of an extreme reaction to basically questions for an article.
Well, go back to where he said about it made clear to him that internal information, financial information was leaked, including the P&Ls and everything else.
Yeah. Ethan Gotch, reporter Kotaku, writing an article about Prytania Media and the closure of Crop Circle Games. Much of it was expected, but I was also stunned to see non-public information about Project Vonnegut, the game they're developing with their partner, disclosure of our publishing partner with details of our business and financial relationship, and details of internal P&L discussions and confidential all-company meetings.
Okay, yeah. So somebody within the company leaked that information to Ethan Koch. And when Ethan Koch was doing his interview with
Yeah, when he's following up as a journalist.
Following up as a journalist, it became clear that internal information had been leaked. So then he goes out to his publishing partners, who up to this point had not been disclosed,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "Hey guys, I just got out of an interview yesterday with Ethan Koch, and Ethan Koch had a bunch of information, and he knows who you are. He knows what our agreements are. He knows what our percentages are. He has an idea of our P&Ls. Somebody has leaked all that information," and the partners went, "Oh, well, if all of that is now public, we don't want any part of this now. Thanks. Bye-bye. We'll just have the salad."
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, okay,
That's
we're
legitimate. That is a legitimate thing that could happen. Absolutely, when internal information is leaked like that.
is that because that seems like kind of extreme reaction to also like
It depends on what the publishing partners. If the publishing partners wanted to say in the shadows, and then all of a sudden now they're not in the shadows, and also the internal like when you're talking about P&L stuff, when there's leaks
yes.
in the company where like there's financial information, private financial information being flowed out of the company to someone, yeah, as a investor, you might want to be like, you know what? I don't know if I feel good about this relationship anymore. Maybe we want to step away.
But
And
that
then
also
once that
but
happens,
I think what's interesting is
company's done.
that brings up the question of why was financial information being leaked?
I don't know.
Like, why
I'd
would
like
an
to know what
employee
Jason Koch knew.
why would an employee leak like sure, you can talk about the game, right? Game stuff leaks all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not a big deal. Like
No,
without
they would
leaking.
only be leaking that information if there was something shifty going on.
And so he specifically mentioned the closure of Crop Circle Games, which remember was the one run by his wife.
Right. And he said during the conversation that I was having with Crop Circle Games, it became apparent to me
Oh no,
when he started asking me other questions about Project Vonnegut.
yeah.
So he probably asked, so like to ask about Crop Circle Games, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, here's these unexpected questions about Project Vonnegut that are tipping off that he knows something.
So Annie Strain, a week ago, put out a
Right.
statement about the closure of Crop Circle Game.
Mm-hmm.
And also specifically called out this article as well. Her statement, and it's kind of a long one, and it's a bit of a journey.
Okay.
I got a text this afternoon that Ethan Gotch of Kotaku is writing an article about the closure of Crop Circle Games. One of the 4 studios under my care has the former CEO and owner of Prytania Media. Mr. Gotch has not contacted me about his article, nor confirmed details in his article with me, which is surprising considering the fact that I was CEO of this company for 2 years and retained majority ownership. I stepped down as CEO this winter on medical leave, and while I don't know the content of Mr. Gotch's article, I have no assurances that my personal health struggles as a rare female game industry CEO will not be covered in his article. The thought of a random man I have never met talking about my personal health, my body, in a public forum without my consent is so ghastly to me that I am now choosing to share before he does that I have multiple sclerosis. Sclerosis. I can't pronounce it.
Sclerosis.
Sclerosis.
Yes.
Well, I have been actively preparing myself and my children for the grueling time to come for several years. I considered it private information. It was not until last fall, following an intense 3 months on the road pitching for our studios, that I started to experience noticeable muscle weakness on the left side of my face and pronounced slurring with my speech. Blah, blah, blah. As symptoms continued, I couldn't hide it any longer and no longer represent the company in a public way. More stuff about disclosing the illness. One of the things no one ever tells us about serious illness is the clarity it provides. I have that now, and this message is an opportunity for me to personally talk about the difficult but absolutely necessary changes we have made at Prytania Media, including the closure of Crop Circle Games, a significant reduction in Prytania Media's non-developer employees, and the successful realignment of the games and staffing at our 3 other studios, one of which is now also closed. Prytania Media and each of these studios were a lifelong dream, a place for game developers to work in carefully curated, positive environments that allowed them to experience the joy of their craft. In particular, I carry the stories of dozens of industry women who experienced things too awful to write here, and it has been my dream to continue a forward-thinking and profitable place, safe for them and for me. I believed in each of these studios, the teams that assembled around the game's concepts, and the game ideas themselves. I believed enough to invest significant amounts of my personal money and to devote the last 3 years of my life, and now I know my health, to the success of every person and game associated with us. Long before the dark clouds of these current industry-wide layoffs began to gather, I knew the game industry was headed towards a downturn. It would have been the third economic downturn that my business partner / husband and I have owned and run independent game studios through, and I initially felt that we were uniquely prepared to address the challenges and to protect everyone associated with us. Over the last 23 years, we built 2 profitable studios from the earliest stages to acquisition by major publishers, and weathered all kinds of business and economic challenges along the way, all without a single layoff. What I did not understand was that the current economic downturn in the industry was not just another economic cycle. It is a permanent and sustained alteration and contraction of the industry we all know and love. And this part is literally bolded and underlined. In light of the increasing impact of AI and consolidation in the industry, I fought hard for Crop Circle and did everything I could to leverage the reputation of the games and teams at all our studios to give Crop Circle's projects a boost, to find the right partner to take the game to ship. The Crop Circle team was incredibly likable, the chemistry and enthusiasm for each other absolutely delightful, and the game had a whimsy and playfulness that was hard not to root for. I love this team and the game beyond measure. In the end, despite the kind words of everyone, we pitched for 2 solid years. The game did not have core features that have emerged as requirements to be competitive in today's hyper-aggressive market. I know it's painful for all of us who love this game and this extraordinary team to acknowledge, but the game was just fundamentally out of touch with emerging player tastes and not aligned with the portfolio strategies of any publishers or investors. As a result, in contrast to our other studios, there was not a single organization of any kind willing to invest in continued game development. As the world destabilizes in the most brutalizing ways, the game industry is experiencing in parallel a once-in-a-multiple generation kind of change. We don't know exactly where it will land. It is awful on all sides. For now, like many other companies all over the world, we did incredibly painful and difficult things, including layoffs, to rapidly adapt to these new conditions, save every job we could, and fight to bring innovative new game experiences to a market that favors the mega companies. For independent developers of all sizes, there are no easy paths forward, and I stand by these decisions. As for Mr. Gotch and his article for Kotaku, I have enormous compassion and sympathy for him. Kotaku is owned by Geo Media, which is in turn owned by a private equity firm in Boston. As other Geo brands are sold and their teams fired, Mr. Gotch must be under incredible pressure to generate clicks and satisfy advertisers. Watching the meltdown in games media has been just as awful, and searing has experiencing the meltdown with development jobs, and I empathize with Mr. Gotch's situation. In these extraordinarily stressful and ugly times throughout every facet of the game industry, I hope the best for him and for all of us in the industry as we grapple with the new realities of the next phase in game development. And that's it. So it definitely goes on a bit of a tangent talking about the, dark clouds over the industry, and like to go. I have no idea what this article is, but he's probably going to write about my health. So I'm going to announce this here. But also, I feel bad for him because he just has to write something to generate clicks. It sounds a lot like trying to get ahead of bad news, right?
It exactly feels like it's trying to get ahead of bad news. That
It's
there's
somewhat,
some kind of financial shenanigans going on.
she's trying to get out
And
ahead of it and play herself up as a victim for like a disease that is generally awful, but like she's trying to get ahead of this. And at the same time, her husband, getting these questions, talks to his publishing agreements, closes down his studio. It just feels like someone shredding and burning all the documents in the office before the FBI gets there.
Yeah, it sort of does. It sort of does.
And so
I'm really interested to know. And in many ways, they've made a Streisand effect. Is that he
yes,
might have done that article and it might have just been noticed and gone away, but now everybody's waiting for that article. I didn't even know about that article.
yes, it's especially because like all the people at Crop Circle Games were furloughed in February. I don't remember hearing about that because you know
Exactly.
what? Tons of people were laid off in February. This
Right.
news just like slipped right under the radar. I've never heard of Prytania Media before.
Neither. The only name that I know out of this is Undead Labs, and they're not even in part of this in the story.
It's just completely tangentially related.
And, yeah, they've totally Streisand affected themselves.
Yeah. So I really want to see what this article is because
There's something in there that's got some people very upset. A lot of knickers and knots right now.
There was a beehive, a wasp's nest just got poked.
Yeah. And I'm really curious to know who it is now. And, the best thing that ever could happen to Mr. Koch. Best thing that ever happened to his article.
Oh, yeah. Like now that article is...
Like we're talking about it.
We're talking about it's not even out. Like who waits for a news article? There's not usually hype around the news article because you don't even know it's coming.
Yeah. They needed to talk to somebody about crisis communications is what they needed to do.
Yeah. So
do we know when this article's coming out?
Nope. But if he was asking questions about them like this week and last week, then
I would imagine it's another week or so.
Yeah.
Tops.
So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think the only thing that they managed to do was to speed up him writing that article and getting it out. So when it's on the top of everybody's of brain of like, what is this article? I need to read this. Yeah. That is a crazy ass story. Hey, Awkward Minds is in the chat room. It says
been on the road a long time. Yeah, he said he was
last time he listened to the episode was Nick, Edie, and Goalie.
Yeah, I haven't heard you guys since Spreaker.
Right. So we had, let's see, it was Goalie, and then Goalie was replaced by Chaos. And then I ended up getting a job that made us go back to weekends. And then, no, actually, we went to weekends. I had to go back to weekends and Goalie couldn't do the show. So then Chaos came on, and then Chaos got a job and couldn't do weekends. So now it's just Nick and me with Chaos sometimes in the chat room. And yeah, Goalie now has his own channel that he does called Digital to Dice.
Yep.
And actually
it has a link right there.
Yep. So there's Digital to Dice. And he's does essentially tabletop gaming and sports gaming and that kind of stuff. It's no longer as much. Actually, I don't think it's any video games. It's all pretty much.
It's all like tabletop sports games.
Yep.
Which is like a cool, super niche.
Yeah. It says, I forgot you always drop the links for the live shows. Yeah. Let's see. Is Chaos joining this month while Nick is away? Chaos is here. Hey, Chaos, what are you doing next weekend? Can you do a show for a couple of weekends? Because Nick's away for 2 weeks in a row?
Yes.
Okay. So we're dark. Well, Nick's not going to be here the next 2 weekends. I am definitely going to be doing something, whether it is finishing Baldur's Gate 3 during this time of the day, or if it is maybe me doing Chaos, or, me with Chaos, not doing Chaos, but me with Chaos. Yeah, we're not. No. Thank you. No.
Are you going to stream that on Twitch or?
Yeah. We're definitely not streaming on Twitch. Twitch has new rules. New censorship rules. Thank
Yeah, I
God.
saw you can no longer project games on your butt.
Yeah. You can no longer appear
I had a whole
nude.
series planned just like that, and sorry, I recorded a whole bunch of videos of it, but now I've just got to delete them all.
I would watch that. I would absolutely watch you projecting games on your butt.
No, I don't have a nice enough butt to put on the internet.
No, you don't, but I still would do it. It's kind of like that terrible show that you wanted me to watch.
Secret Invasion?
Secret Invasion. I like Secret Invasion. Like, you gotta watch it because it's like a car
Mm.
crash. You just gotta slow down and watch
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So
So that's the journey of Prytania Media. It's not over yet.
I'm literally making myself, while we were talking, I was making a Google alert for Prytania Media. So, next item.
Next item in, let's say, incomplete, opposite, like more just fun, cool news. Also leaks. Warhorse Studios is going to announce Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 next week.
You sent that to me, and I lost my ever-loving mind.
Uh-huh.
I'm so excited for this.
They have an announcement ready to be delivered on the 18th. But the tweet they put out, it's got a horse, the text, the font, it all, and
Let's
plus
see if I can find it.
the only other game they put out was Kingdom Come Deliverance. So it's like, if they're getting a new game, it's going to be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Right. So let me see. Hold on a second. Don't give. Why is iMovie launching?
So yeah, they tweeted out this thing, new game reveal, Thursday, April 18th. And then Tom Henderson. Tom Henderson, who is like a famous insider who has like a lot of good inside knowledge, retweeted that with the comment, "This isn't wishful thinking, by the way. It is Kingdom 2."
Let's see. Let's see. There we go. New reveal from Warhouse Studios. Come on. Here we go. Stand by. I'm trying to load this shit up for you.
Yeah,
because that is what I do. There we go. So Warhorse new game review. Yeah, it's gotta be Kingdom Come Deliverance.
And I remember like I was at a GameStop or something, and I think it was on Amazon.
And then of course Tom Henderson writes,
yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Like I was at an Amazon or something, and I was like, "Oh hey, this Kingdom Come Deliverance game is like $5," and I was like, "Oh sure." It was like some sort of promotional thing, and I bought like 3 games, and I started playing that one, and I realized, oh shit, this is really really good.
really
like on the
good.
podcast, and I told you about it. Like, shit, this game is really good. And then you got it. And
oh my god!
Like it's still to this day one of the games that I've sunk the longest amount of hours into.
It's to this day when I talk about like my games of the year for like best games ever, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest games ever made. Kingdom Come Deliverance is very, very, very close to the top. That game is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. And I can't believe that more people didn't know about it. Holy
like
shit.
it was a really like kind of low, like just flew under the radar. And I think I hope that it's become more and more of a cult hit as time has gone on.
I think that, when some people finally get their hands on it and realized how good it was. If it had the already Kingdom Deliverance 2 already has more media attention on it than one ever did.
Yeah.
Like pre-game hype. If it had the pre-game hype that this game has, then it would have been a wild hit.
Yeah.
Wild hit.
I'm hoping that it's a Dragon's Dogma 2 situation where Dragon's Dogma just kind of came and went, flew under the radar, but over time became a bit of a cult classic. And then Dragon's Dogma 2 came out to a lot more hype.
It's exactly. I mean, obviously, already it's coming out to a lot more hype.
Yes, and so I hope Deliverance 2 follows that same trajectory.
Such a good game. Such a good game. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
I read that and got up and kind of danced around my my office a little bit, like look to make sure nobody understood what I was saying. But I'm like, yes, 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 oh, yes, 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 yes. So heavy. So April 18th is already on my calendar.
Yes.
And I am going to be watching. I don't care if the ambassador of Japan is on the phone. He's gonna have to hold because I have a little something to do. So anyway, next item.
Okay. These are more like kind of interesting stuff for the future. Discord has now added sponsored quests, which are basically a form of advertisement.
Oh, hey, did we just get rated? I think we might have. Hi, rating people. Thank you for rating just us as we're just wrapping up the end of our show. Welcome.
I mean, we've still got like 10, 15 minutes left.
Yeah, it's true. We could
That's
drag
plenty
it
of
out.
time. Yeah. You rule. We hate Nightbot.
Yeah. Sorry about Nightbot. Nightbot is an asshole. All right.
Yes. Oh, okay. Hello. We'll add all of you.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Too many.
That's Nick. No, that's Nick. I'm Edie. Hi. Nice to meet you. So we're just going over like the last little bit of the news. We were just talking about how excited I am about Kingdom
Come Deliverance 2. Which, okay, maybe you could change the title because that's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. Did you happen to notice that when Tom Henderson was talking about it, he actually calls it Kingdom Deliverance 2?
That must be a typo.
Oh, it is, but I'm wondering if they might just change it to Kingdom Deliverance 2.
No, what they need to do, the game was called Kingdom Come: Deliverance.
Yes.
It just needs to be Kingdom Come: another word.
Anything other than Deliverance.
Redemption. Anything other than Deliverance. Don't do Deliverance 2. I hate this trend of like gaming to do subtitle number. It's like just choose a subtitle or a number. You don't
How about
need
Kingdom Come: 2?
No. They've already made the choice. It's Kingdom Come: Deliverance. You can't change it now.
Yeah.
It's like
it was a terrible. That's another thing that didn't help that game was the freaking name. It's a terrible name. Terrible name.
It doesn't really tell you anything.
Not a damn thing.
Yeah.
So
anyways, Discord.
Yes.
So Discord is adding sponsored quests, which are a kind of like advertisement, like in-game. It basically ads, but like you have to interact with them. So the way the program works is that you will be able to earn in-game items for the game in question if you complete quests while streaming the game through Discord and someone's watching.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm playing Dragon's Dogma 2 and they have this, sponsored quest, I have to complete that quest in Dragon's Dogma 2 while streaming it on Discord to at least one other person watching. Which I think is kind of interesting because I don't know, because I haven't streamed on Discord a lot, but can you stream on Discord and like Twitch or YouTube simultaneously?
No, that is one of the reasons why we don't stream on Discord.
So it's interesting to me that this is like a whole project, because usually when you stream to a large audience, like what you're doing now. You stream in public, but this is like a private stream to a friend for in-game items, which means you have to really, really want those items.
Yeah.
And, like, your friend has to really be willing to help you if you're basically just like streaming to each other.
Here's why I think they're doing it is that they want Discord to be a little bit more of a competitor, and not a stupid idea, mind you, a competitor to Twitch. Because remember, Discord went public.
Yes,
Discord now has to worry about making revenue way more than they ever have in the entire history of that company. They have to start making revenue and growing revenue. And I know that they're starting to see enough, let's just say, unhappiness in the Twitch community about Twitch, especially as Twitch has been changing all of the revenue sharing money. And I think that they see there's a weakness there in the market that they could take advantage of with the Discord streaming. So
except
they might be starting to cast the seeds to see what grows.
but it's just such a completely different type of streaming that it's
It
like
is.
it's not really competing.
It is. It isn't competing yet. I think that, like I said, this is just kind of casting seeds to see how this works. And what they want people to do is start doing more streaming to each other in a more of a presentation mode, as opposed to just communicating to each other or talking to each other, to be streaming kind of like how I used to do when I was streaming. What would we stream? We would stream sometimes anime,
Oh
sometimes we
yeah.
would stream, I did stream some, the
So
game I really love.
can we like stream some Netflix and get some like credits out of that? Can
Yeah.
we get around?
Maybe.
Will Discord reward us for breaking Disney Plus's password sharing crackdown?
Right, but we could also stream some PC games, like, what I was playing, what's the game I love that I absolutely Crusader Kings. I
Oh,
was
okay.
playing Crusader Kings, and I was streaming it within our Discord channel, and I did
Okay.
have some people
Yeah.
watching. So I think that that's what they want people to do, is to start using it as a presentation streaming, as opposed to just video communications or talking amongst yourselves, or like having a D&D party together. That's what I'm thinking, because they're testing the waters to see what we can do, with a mind to the fact that they are going to start competing with Twitch. That is my prediction. And it all comes down to having gone public. And yes, I bought stock. Because why not? Average John says, I kind of like the idea, to be honest. Easy way to help friends out, especially when you chat in Discord anyway. Exactly. And if they
That's
could
true.
capitalize on that.
Although
Nick, how many times have we said that, when was it Stadia? Yeah, with Stadia. Was it Stadia? Was that
yeah,
the
Google's thing?
Yeah. When Stadia came out, that Stadia was about 5 years too early, because Twitch, ever since Stadia went away, has kind of run rampant. That now that it no longer is competing with YouTube, that it's kind of found its own niche as live streaming as opposed to after the fact watching, that it's kind of, now that it has no competition for Stadia, it's running rampant over content creators. And you and I both said that if Stadia had stuck around for 5 years more, then, or had waited for Twitch to kind of start acting up, that they could come in and steal all those people away, because there's a lot more creators that are unhappy with Twitch than there were 5 years ago. And now Discord is seeing that as an opportunity. So, but they're not stupid. They're not going to be like Google, and they don't have Google money. They're not just going to throw a bunch of money at it, but they're going to start slow. And the fact that this is coming out the week after they just got valued at, was it several $billion. They got a massive cash infusion. They've got a lot more money to play with. They've got a war chest. And I think that that's what they're working on.
That could be. My one comment though is that it would be cool to be able to help friends out, but that's not what this is, because the whole point of the sponsored quest is that you have to complete that sponsored quest. So it's not like streaming a game and saying, "Hey, look, this is what you do," or like streaming for a friend and going like, "Hey, check this out." It's, "Hey, come watch me complete this advertisement. Come watch me play this ad," basically.
And yeah, exactly.
It depends.
Come watch me play this ad that we're selling to this company to get people playing it on Discord.
the whatever the quest is, it had better be really, really compelling
There's a lot of
to
money in
to
that.
justify something like that, to
I
justify
don't know.
showing it off.
I think I would go in and try it. It's uncharted territory, really.
I
And
guess, but if the quest is just like,
fortune favors
collect
the
10 flowers in some RPG, it's like, well, that's
yeah,
dumb.
if it's a dumb quest, but it would get you at least streaming on there. I've got a lot of reasons why I'd want to do it. It's new territory. They'd be the only ones there. You
Mm.
could be one of the first people to really start doing this streaming, number 1. Number 2 is that if this comes off successfully, a lot more companies, a lot more developers are going to be sponsoring stuff like this, which would be kind of fun. It essentially
Yeah,
makes its own content. You don't have to come up with any ideas for content. It
but
gives you the
but
ideas to do
but
the
the
content.
problem is that if it's a really cool quest, then like you can't you have to watch your friends play it. We
Yeah.
have to watch our chat play it. Or we have to play it. But I don't use Discord that much for video. I watch a lot of Twitch and YouTube, but I guess that's the point, right? They want you to go to this other streaming service, but
Building
I don't want to.
building habits,
I don't
building
want to.
habits.
I don't want to learn a new habit.
I
Fuck
know,
that.
but
I
yeah, I know,
I
but
like
this is
my
you.
comfort.
You're a curmudgeon. You are an old man, way older than your years. A lot of people are going to be willing to try it. I'm going to be willing to try it. I'm going to go do it.
Okay. You know
Doesn't going
what?
to hurt me.
You know
I
what?
would have a fun time.
I'll watch you.
I know you will, and that would be great. Those that can't do, watch.
So, no, those that can't do teach. Those that can't teach watch.
And by the way, yeah, there's the link for Average Ann's Twitch channel right over wherever it is. You have there. Thank you for rating us, Average. I guess can I call you Average by your first name, or are you Mr. And? You're our first raid. We've
Yeah.
never been raided. Do you see the number of where we're at of the number up there? 700 episodes. We have never been rated. Now, we haven't had 700 episodes here, but still 700 episodes, still never been rated. Congratulations. You're my first. I I've always been, the one that didn't get asked out to the prom. You're my first prom. Thank you. Mr. And is a new one. Average is good. All right. Well, it's the definition of average, isn't it? All right. So next
Okay.
item.
Yes, I have one more. This
One
is
more.
potentially really good. Apple is now allowing retro game emulators
I
on
saw
their App
that.
Store.
I saw that. I'm so glad for this.
Yes, and clearly this is the result, of all the antitrust stuff filed in the EU. But this is a global policy change, so this affects us as well as the EU.
Right.
And apparently there are already some retro console emulators on Android. I didn't know that, but those are the most likely candidates to come over to iOS now. Nothing is available right at the moment, and they do say that what is it? Those apps must comply with all applicable laws, which is clearly them saying, hey, if you put something on here or use it for piracy, we'll absolutely ban you, which is all to be expected.
Right.
But this is also the first step in things like the Epic Store on there, things like Xbox Game Pass on there, and things like that. It's not quite that, because those aren't emulators, those are storefronts. But this is that first step. That whole Epic's fight against storefronts on Apple, and even with Google, those things are progressing step by step, and this feels like slowly we're gonna get over there.
Yep. And if you think about it, thank goodness for the EU. Thank goodness. How many times has the EU regulations improved and made things better for us as American consumers lately? The EU has no problem taking Apple and Google and everybody else to task in ways that we don't or can't. Our FTC is getting essentially shown up by EU regulators. And because it's easier, they're not going to, do it for one place and not the other. they kind of can't. We get the
I
benefit
mean,
of
they
it.
can. I know there's a whole like privacy data cookies thing that only affects the EU.
Right, right. But in general, a lot of those things, like especially the walled garden issues, are. I mean, hell, the EU almost blocked Activision, the Microsoft Activision sale.
Yeah, no, that was the UK, I believe, right? I think the
You're right. It
EU,
was the UK. I stand corrected. It was the
which
UK.
still other side of the ocean.
Yeah, yeah. It's all
Yeah, other
all
side of the
old
ocean.
timey land. Yeah,
It's
wherever.
all the same. Like Europe, UK, Russia, China, they may as well all be the same.
Everything past the Jersey Shore is just them. But yeah, no, thank God for them, because they are keeping a lot of these companies honest in a way that our own regulatory government uh, departments and agencies are not doing that, and we're getting the benefit for it. So thank
Yeah.
you, EU, for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
EU. All right. That was bad, by the way. I shouldn't have laughed at that. That was terrible.
Oh, that's absolutely awful.
Horrible.
If someone had a bumper sticker like that, I'd have to ram the car.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, anything else?
No, that's all the news stories and games I have.
All right.
Although I do got to give credit for AC Wraith for describing himself in the most perfect way.
Oh.
He says, "I'm less a mod and more a VH1 pop."
Pop-up video. Yep, that's him. So now we got a couple of problems. One, I cannot stream tonight. We're gonna have to stream tomorrow because I'm going to be I have to go to dinner with my neighbor. And have a
Okay.
turkey dinner because long story. Anybody want to buy turkey?
Yeah, you've got like 15 turkeys, 5
No.
fridges,
I sold some turkeys.
2
I
Turkish
sold.
coffee makers, and an espresso machine. You've got like your own
I know.
7 days
I'm.
of
Oh, and my
Christmas.
brother ended up. If anybody wants to buy a washer and dryer, he's got several washers and
Oh my
dryers to
god, you're
sell.
just adding appliances.
I don't want to go into this business. I don't. I really don't. Oh, I actually
You're
have some
become an
ladies'
appliance
hats back there.
reseller?
I have some vintage ladies' hats behind me. They're going on eBay tonight. This is the long story.
He's got to open an eBay store.
I actually am probably going to open up an eBay store. See these? You can see these boxes right here. Those are
Yeah.
vintage. Those are vintage hats, vintage ladies' hats from my
Hmm.
grandmother's estate. That we're like, let's just get rid of them. I'm like, let's put them on eBay. We're putting other stuff on eBay. Why not? I am not. We can't stream tonight, but we'll have to do it tomorrow
Okay.
if that's okay with you. When do you go out of town?
For Friday.
That's yes. Yeah, Edie has a problem betting on auctions and winning way too much. I would like to argue with that, but given the last month, I cannot. Mistakes. I learned a lot. Mistakes were made. And I learned now not to make those mistakes again.
You learn not to make the minimum bid on
Everything
things you don't really need.
No, there was a lot of things that I needed them all. Everything I got, I needed, except the turkeys. But that's another story. Long story. Tomorrow,
Yes.
do we want
Tomorrow
to
we can stream.
do Helldivers or do we want to do Baldur's Gate? We haven't done Baldur's Gate in a really long time.
We haven't done it in a while, but I also feel like if we stream it tomorrow and then I'm away for like 2 weeks, it's like you can't watch an episode of a show. You
What do you
can't
mean?
watch. You can't
That's the
watch an
last time you
episode of a show.
played. That's the last time you played. It's been like 3 weeks since the
that's the
last time we
point.
played it.
But
Just
that's the
play it
point.
tomorrow.
Like
Baldur's Gate.
play it and then we take a break. Yeah, look, in
Nick,
this day and
Baldur's
age,
Gate.
you can't watch an episode of a TV show and then wait a week to watch another episode. Who does
Baldur's
that?
Gate. We're playing Baldur's
Old people
Gate.
do that.
We're playing Baldur's Gate. We're playing Baldur's Gate.
Okay, fine. Oh, actually, that's good because I've been watching videos and I need to talk to Withers to change my class.
Oh, interesting. So you're not going to be the naked pink dragon swinging
no,
his dong around?
I'm still gonna be a naked pink dragon. I'm just not gonna be a 4 elements monk.
Okay.
All the videos I've seen were like, who the fuck chooses 4
Bye,
elements
Average.
monk?
Nice to meet you. And we'll come look for you too. And
Yes,
any
we will.
suggestions of who we should rate? Because I feel an obligation to pass on the love to somebody, but I've never rated anyone myself. I don't even know.
I mean, I
to
guess
do it.
just pick a channel.
I guess, yeah. All right, I'll pick a channel.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, yes, I need to change to a different type of monk. I'm still gonna be a monk, just a different subclass.
All right, fine. So tomorrow night, 7:00.
Yeah.
8:00.
Let's say 8.
Okay, so 8:00, 8 p.m. Pacific. That would be 11 p.m. Eastern. We will be streaming Baldur's Gate, the multiplayer, and where we are playing pure evil. And skipping most of the game because
I'm
of
not
it.
pure evil.
No, we're
I'm
going to
just-
be the absolute. We are going to
Yeah.
essentially.
But I'm not evil. I'm just a country bumpkin monk who is, kind of appreciates the fact that people are saying I'm a saint of this new religion.
Yeah, you're kind of
right?
liking that. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't like to be
Look,
called
I was
the
I was
absolute?
I was living in the forest when all of a sudden I got sucked up into this thing and I got a bug in my eye, literally.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's how you do it. Just look through the podcast channel, came across us. Well, I'm glad you did. I look forward to seeing your show. I'm going to go over and I'm going to subscribe to you. Thank you so much for rating us. This was actually kind of fun. I really enjoyed it. And we will be passing on the love at the end of the show. Thank you. All right, so 10 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m., 11 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night.
Yes.
And all right, so let's go find somebody. Let's go look for let me see if I can find where I need to be. There we go. All right. Is that the right one? Yes, it was. I'm sorry. I have to get a new tab. I need to present it again. Share screen to the new tab. Fine. Cool. Now let's go to Twitch. Let's look for podcasts. Let's see. I'm not having the whole thing. Right. Talk show podcasts. Let's pick one. Who do we want to raid? I say we go with somebody who doesn't have a few. Who doesn't have a lot. First podcast. Oh, but is he speaking English? I don't know. Let's go see. So this is somebody's first podcast. Don't forget to let him know that GameHounds is rating him. Let's go over and do that. But before we do that, let's close out this show. Hey, Redneck. Welcome. Just in time for us to leave. Feel free to come back. Feel free to come back next week. But let's close this show out and then we'll hit this. So let's get this closed out. Let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 712. We recorded this on Sunday, April 14th, 2024. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nikki Nicola. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch and on YouTube. On Twitch, we are the GameHounds. On YouTube, we're GameHounds Vids, V-I-D-S. We'd love to have you join us live next Sunday or any future Sunday. As a reminder, Nick is not going to be here for the next 2 Sundays, but I will be playing Baldur's Gate next Sunday, or maybe with Chaos. We'll figure it out. We'll be able to find it out on our Discord. Our Discord channel, speaking of which, feel free to join us on our Discord. We would love to have you in there. There's our Discord channel. join us. This is where we will announce if we're going live. This is where there's going to be schedule changes if something gets canceled, whatever. Also, great group of people, known each other for years. Love to have you join us. That's our Discord channel right there. And we are Patreon sponsored or Patreon funded. And we are 100% Patreon funded. Patreon.com/GameHounds. $1 a month is all we ask to help keep us paying for all of the services and all the subscriptions that keep this going. So if you'd like to go in, 25 cents a show is what it comes out to. Less than like 10 cents an hour when you consider how long our shows are. So feel free to, we'd love to have you do it. Thank you to our patrons. Was it for you, we'd be dark right now. You'd be looking at a black screen. Reminder, we will be playing Baldur's Gate tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch, which again is the GameHounds. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for all of the new raiders. So cool to actually, you are the first time I have ever been raided. So pat yourself on the back. I got raided by you for the first time. We will see y'all later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good week.
All right, music is out. All right, let's go over to, where were we? The one we are rating right now, it looks like it's Chewy Locks 06 over here, right? This guy right here. So we will see you over there. I'm going to raid him real quick. And then I got to go take my stuffing out of the oven and go to dinner. See y'all later, everyone. Thank you all to all of the raiders who've been here. Thank you so much to Average for being here and bringing all his listeners. This was really cool. It gave me a little warm feeling in my heart. Have a good week, everyone. See you over there. Bye.